Okie dokie. We are. Will be live? Yes, we are. We are here. We are here. Right. Hello, lads and lassies. mrsans the Blackadder here, and welcome back to a brand new live stream. The first Wednesday live stream of the year. Don't expect a weekday live stream to become a reoccurring thing. I'm just, like I said I don't think I already mentioned it, but thank you. Ow, that is loud. I need to turn those down. Join your stream to a Kelvin Klein outfit. um. Anyhow, so yeah, welcome back to another live stream. Don't get used to Wednesdays. I want to stream whenever I want, and this kind of just felt like the type of day to actually do that. So yeah, especially with what we're doing today, because today we're going to be doing some editing. Ooh. Now, obviously, there's a lot to go through when it comes to making a video for the mrsans, the Blackadder YouTube channel. And some stuff does go into the extras channel as well. Very little work actually goes into doing the stuff for Twitch. But I want to kind of show you guys just how somewhat the process goes for me. So for this one, we're going to be editing a original story that I've written some time ago, and I only got around recently to filming the footage. I think it was like a couple of months ago I managed to film this footage, but it was only recently that I was able to actually get the narration nailed down. I hope the narration's nailed down, actually. I need to double check that. Did I put it? Yes, I did put it in there. It's going to be this is going to be a series 5. Oh, hang on. This is going to be a Series 5 story with the title amplified as Breaking Branches. To give a basic summary of what it is, it's basically just a story about it is basically just a story about James grumbling about not pulling coaches for a little while, and a storm has hit, and he's been tasked to help to take over Dalton Douglas's work as well as his own, while the twins help out clear the main line. And he's not too happy about that, but then ends up sort of helping after shoving a tree out of the way. It was kind of inspired by an incident I saw on, I think it was Instagram I saw it on. But hopefully, things will go well with that, with this, and fingers crossed things actually work right. So, so without further ado, let's head over to the There we go, and here we are. So I think I've already mentioned it before. I use Shortcut to edit my videos. It's a free editing software, so it's pretty easy for people to use, and it's actually it does get updates quite regularly. It can be a bit of an ass with it, but overall, if you do want to start off with a simple editing software, I do recommend you grab this for yourself. It will be very handy for you. I will assure you on that. Hello, Jess. What did you see? What have you seen? Tell me while I try and figure out why that's not show. Oh, yeah, it's because I'm on there. If I quickly I'm trying to grab the audio so that way I can place it on here just for the software here. Hopefully it does work right. If it doesn't, then that's gonna be a bit of a pooey. But I am gonna plop on some music as well, like previous. If I remember where Spotify is. It is there. There we go. Okay, jump on some Spotify for us now. Turn that fucking down, Jesus. That's a bit loud. Oh yeah, I actually just realized I probably should have mentioned this earlier on. I kind of have a new backdrop and everything. Like, hang on, let me just quickly, this is a new backdrop here. You might have seen it, earlier on in the previous stream or something. I don't know if I showed it, but Jenna sorted out both that and this VTube model, or PNG tuber model. Hang on a minute. Never mind. I thought my mum was calling for me, but no, instead she was just having a sneeze. So, that goes for my hearing. That goes for my hearing there. Fuck, bloody brilliant there. 10 out, 2020 hearing. 2020 hearing. I'll just quickly cut back to... here. There we go. Right, so, so what basically happens with the start of the process is I go through the video with the narration first, so I basically plop the narration right there. I work on the music at the same time as well, but sometimes it can be worth it just waiting before you do the music. But if you want to be very precise with your footage, then I do recommend you do try that with everything. I don't know if I have got all the music sorted, and I don't know if oh no, opening File Explorer doesn't break anything. Why is that? Wait, so why is that now just doing that? Well, like, what the hell? Discord. Not Discord. The File Explorer. I'm Blue Patriot, and I approve the stream. Let me just double check the, Okay, yeah, that does work. Okay. Okay, so that does work. Okay, that works fine. That works fine. So I can have that. And we can have the music at the same time. This is going to be lovely. This is going to be a lovely stream, everyone. I think this is going to be a lovely stream. I will try and chat with you guys as much as I can. I don't have dual monitors set up again, so you'll have to bear in mind with me on that. But I will try and chat with you as much as I can. Maybe if I didn't have this... Hang on. Because I put it set as full screen for this stream, but I don't usually have it on full screen. If I just do that... and shrink it to the right size... just about... yeah, that should do it. Okay, now I can see the stream. Now I can see the chat, guys. I can now see your chats now. I can see your chats now. That's good. Right, so we'll just make a start here. So I'm going to cut out broken branches there, because I'm thinking of possibly using that as additional as like a sort of like what Berry Chuck does, where he allows you to use his narration for your projects. I might do that as well. It's all going to depend. if I do more in a similar fashion. So we're gonna start, and we're gonna grab our first footage here. You will have to excuse, because a lot of the time I am watching stuff while making these. So there can be times where I will need to press the mute button here. Just so that way, I don't have to listen to whatever's playing. Because I never turn any of my audio stuff off whenever I go and do this. But, we go to here, and then we can grab the music, figure out which one it is, which I don't remember. Nope. Nope. I only just started... Why is that Why is that there? Okay, that is weird. So yeah, I normally just go back and forth with the music just to see what works on what. And sometimes I will go to File Explorer again if I haven't got anything else put down here, just in case there is something I've missed, which I feel like I might have, but I don't know. Just a helpful tip, make sure all your stuff is organized, because my stuff isn't rarely organized. So if you find yourself in that position, make sure everything is all nice and tidy, otherwise you are going to get a bit kerfuffled with everything. I'm going to quickly... Nope. I'm going to quickly go to Google Drive. Because I'm too dumb to organize my clips. Yeah, that's basically what it is. If you're looking for like music stuff and sound effects, the best places to go, in my opinion, for Thomas stuff at least, is going to Carson's Google Drive, if you have a lucky chance of being able to get that, or go to SoundCloud, where there is a lot of stuff for that. But if it's for sound effects, GWR Shunter, Brandon Poley, the Blue Tank, all of them. I don't think that's his actual username, but I can't remember it for shit. All of them have fantastic sound effects from the original shows, and it does help a lot when it comes to making these videos. So if you're looking for music, SoundCloud is really the best place for you. If you're looking for sound effects, Brandon Poley and GW Shunter for that. But you can get Digger Dogs, or Bigger Dogs. So I'm a Bigger Dog or Digger Dog. I am not entirely sure. But he's got a folder of realistic sound effects, which are, once again, extremely helpful. Jess as well, yeah. Most people on SoundCloud, most people that make music on SoundCloud are fantastic at their work. And I highly do recommend, everybody that I've used and others that are yet to be used in my stuff. Why don't I have that downloaded? I should have that downloaded. That's supposed to play at the end of the video. What am I doing with myself if I'm not doing that? Also, also, if you're noticing my PNG keeps changing, I'm literally trying to, get into the hang of using a PNG tuber model. Even though, my damn setup, my mouse is on my right, and everything is, calculated to my number pad. Which isn't entirely ideal, if I'm honest, but it's worth it. It is honestly worth it, in the end. Right, so I need to put that back in there. So that's what we're gonna have playing at the end. There should be an opening queue I downloaded. Did I not download it? I must have not downloaded it. You can get some of the stuff on YouTube as well. If you're wanting to find the stuff on YouTube, Mavis M is one of the people that you would go to for that. They are one of the few people that you would go to. Other ones, if I'm remembering correctly, Sudbury and Afro stuff gets posted on there, but it also gets posted on SoundCloud as well. Actually, when I type in Mavis, I get Mavis from Hotel Transylvania as well. That's completely random to say on stream. Here it is. Here's the one I was looking for. If you are looking for... Again, I'm not showing this on screen, solely for the fact that it's, solely for the fact of some of the stuff I've got on here. But if you do need a way to download all the stuff that you're getting, I do recommend getting, I do recommend finding a website that converts, YouTube links to MP3 or MP4. Just be careful which site you go to. I use Y2Mate, but it will all depend on which ones are available in your region. There are some that I have noticed in the past that are region locked, so you have to be extremely careful with which ones you get, because a lot of them can end up having various other things that, if clicked on accidentally, can lead to scams, which I've been very lucky to not end up onto. But just be very careful with whatever you do find. And sorry if you can actually if you can actually hear that sound. Sorry, that is actually no wait. My desktop audio is not connected onto stream at the moment, so you can't hear that. Right, here we go. So we pop that in there, and that's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. Now, if I just do this very quickly, we're at the start. So if I do this, you can't hear the narration at all. So my most recommended thing to do at this situation is to get your get the gain of volume. It's different depending on what it's different depending on what software you do, but make sure you turn this down. I do recommend you turn it to minus 10 decivolts. Turn it down by 10 decivolts. But even if that's still too much, 20 is the lowest you could go. Otherwise, it's going to be too quiet. As we see there. So if I put it to 30, for example, which is, I think, the lowest I can make it go. No, I can make it go lower. I think I can make this go down all the way to 70 decibels. Yeah, I can make this go down to 70 decibels. So if I put it down as 30, the music's too quiet and the narration's going to get too loud. So we want to have it a nice even. I'm going to duplicate this and then put it onto the narration. Not so that way I can turn it to the same volume, but we are going to double check, first of all, the volume of the narration. Now, this is something I've learned in my college course. You want to make sure that the, I'm just going to turn down the music a little bit more. You want to try and have your narration peak between, this is something I learned in my college course, you need to learn to have a peak between 12 and 6. That's like the base level you'd go for. So it's about here, about to minus, on mine I've got it up to -5, and I can't change that. At least I don't think I can. So we see it up here. About up to here is where you can max go. If you go up to the top, it's going to start crackling, or it's going to be too loud. So we're going to put this up by 10. I like putting round numbers for a lot of stuff, but sometimes I can't do that. You have to be very specific, again, with what the audio is. Very pro tip, I recorded my lines in Audacity. Please make sure, if you're using any software to record your voice lines, thank you for the balls. I don't know if that's playing on the stream, actually. I'm gonna double check that. Yep, okay, right. That wasn't connected. My bad. Watch streak. Ooh, currently on a free stream streak. Well done, Jess. I can get a little notifications here on my stream chat on OBS. You just got some O points. Well done. Yeah, stupidly, I hadn't changed the setup properly, so, that was why. I don't know why it done that. I think I need to change that somehow, but I don't remember how I do that. So, I do apologize. I'm gonna try and quickly figure that out. Why it's doing
Hello,
that.
Mr. Sans.
Ow. I'm just gonna turn that down. Because that's definitely played through. Okay, I'm just gonna say this now. It's extremely bloody loud for me, but it's not loud at all for you guys. Which is a kick in the nuts. It really damn is. I think I need to go to the elements and fix that.
Oh, thank you, sir, said Thomas.
Oh, wow! Oh, holy shit! Damn! Thank you for the tier 1 sub there, Patriot. I think that is the first sub. Yeah, it's the first gifted sub. Just hope my laptop will allow me to. Yeah, your device will be very apparent with that. Your device will be very apparent. Will be very much a thing with that. I'm kind of tempted to mute the thingies at the moment, given how loud they keep getting. I'm not even joking. They are bursting my eardrums. Hang on. Let me go to. Oh, let me go to my alerts. Let me go to my alerts. Let me go to my alerts. Oh yeah, I need to log in. Yeah, that's fine. There we go. Right, I'm gonna fix my overlays for a second. I'm gonna fix the thingies for a second, just so that way we know what we're doing. Yeah, allow me to use the cookies. Yes, just accept the cookies. There we go. Jesus. My alerts. Channel points. Where's the volume? There's the volume. I am turning you down to about 50. Can I change the overall? Is there a way to change the overall one? No. Okay. Right, turn that down to about 50. Turn that one down to about 50. Okay, that should probably be fine. Okay, here we go. Right, back to where we were. So let's just listen to the narration. One day. Now that's too loud. So we're gonna turn that down. We're gonna turn that down to 5 decibels. One day, James was grumbling to the other engines. The back controller doesn't. Yeah, so that's about as much as it should be. So if we listen to both of them at the same time. One day, James was grumbling to the other engines. Okay, so let's try and maybe turn down this a tiny bit more to 23. One day, James was grumbling to the other engines. The back controller doesn't. There we go. Now, before we do anything else, I'm going to quickly change this to be in 3x4 format. Now, I'm not going to change it in the actual setup. I'm going to use a filter on this main layer and use one of my presets and activate my 3x4 format. So there we go. This was something I have pre-made. But if you want to have this in the default setting, you can just go here. You can go to your video mode, and then you can custom make one of your own, or what have you. That one hasn't been changed. Ow. Just realized where Gemma's spamming in the chat. But there we go. That's that. So yeah, you can change it that way, but for our sake of this, because what I do is I edit the episode alone, then I add the intro and outro at the beginning and end in a separate export file. We're just gonna do it like this for now because that's already set in the preset we want. So we'll leave it as it is for now. And what I like to do is just leave I used to leave a tiny second for the audio, but now, seeing as this is a Series 5 story, we're not going to do that. This generally is only a thing for... It's generally only a thing for... Series 1 stuff I do it too.
One day.
Though, that being said, I think a little bit could be used for that. Jenna is holding back today. She is holding back today. I think she's probably preoccupied with stuff at the moment.
One day, James was grumbling to the other engines.
I will put this as a quick note. Sometimes I will use models that other people have made, of course, but including routes, but sometimes I will make my own assets just so that way I can make a specific video. Like this, I don't know if my mouse cursor is actually on. Is my mouse cursor on this thing? I'm going to double check that. Where is it? 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 Actually, yeah, where is it? There it is. Nope, my capture mouse cursor wasn't on. This Titmuth Sheds route, as I will show in a wider shot that I film later on, about this shot here. This Titmuth Sheds route, actually, it'd be easier for this shot. For this route, I had used a, I used a, like, well, I didn't use, I made it myself. Fuck, I don't know what's going on with me today. I can't talk. Ow. Sorry, hang on. Oh, my legs are a bit sore. I was at the gym earlier today. I made this Series 5 Titmuth Sheds. I've made 3 different Titmuth Sheds routes over the past couple of years. I've made the Series 1 route. I made the Series 2 route beforehand, making the original Rumors for Inspection video. And now I've made a Series 5 one for this video. So, kind of cool how I've gone back and forth with this. I don't know if I'll make the other seasons, especially considering other websites have done it for the other season ones for other Tane users, but we'll see what happens. It all depends on how I'm feeling. Now, this is something that I will address. I am using the Branchline crew models for most of the engines. The only one that isn't a Branchline crew model for the main characters is Percy. He's from, I believe it's Daryl Liam's website. Daryl Models, I think that's the name of the website. I could be wrong with that. You guys can let me know in the chat if that's the case. But it is Series 1. It is meant to be, like, only Series 1, but I've been using it... I'm using it in this video until Branchline Crew make their own. Branchline Crew are basically the go-to for 3D face models right now for Tane users. While, like, Sudrian Industries are currently the ones for 19 and up, Branchline Crew are currently those for, Tane. So, they've got engines 1 through 11 minus Toby and Percy at the moment. Oliver is needing an update, but they also have a Flora, a Stanley. The Flora is also the same one from Clay Truck Works, by the way. It's just the tame version of that. Stanley and Diesel and Jinty, who's gonna get an update soon as well. This isn't like a sponsorship for them. I'm gonna stress that now, but I just really like using their stuff. They're just really cool with what they make, and I do recommend you give them a look. One of their more recent stuff was the Skarloey engines and Annie and Clarabelle, as well as their Duck, which does come with a Montague variant as well. So yeah, I do recommend you check that out. Making the hybrid Thomas's branch line. Can I send you it if you want to use it? Future videos. And I think Percy might be making Percy, if I'm not mistaken. It's gonna depend. That depends. I would only really use it. The only branch line, the only Thomas branch line version I'm needing at the moment is a Railway Series one, and I am kind of struggling for that. Hence why in Toby's Mainline Service, a lot of the filming is on a TV series looking version of the route. Obviously, aside from the Elsbridge, obviously, Farquhar was like the most TV series looking thing in that damn thing, and I'm annoyed I didn't make it different. But I am gonna take that and make it into something else later down the line. I am realizing I am rambling on so much, and we've barely gotten anything done. We are over half an hour into this stream, and we've barely done any editing, so we might want to get back to this.
One day, James was grumbling to the other engines. The Fat Controller doesn't realise that an imported engine like me shouldn't be pulling dirty trucks. It isn't proper. It isn't proper.
Rubbish.
Oh god, I hate my Henry voice. I hate my Henry voice. Now, I will show the process. I am gonna mute this audio, though. Just for your guys' sake. So what I do here, you don't see my mouse, but I basically am holding left click on the little move eye icon here, and then I press F5 while holding it. And then, oh no, I accidentally just pressed F5 there. What am I doing? But yeah, I press F5 to get rid of the HUD. That gets rid of everything. Then I press P to unpause the game. And then I just move the mouse about to move the eyes as much as I want. There is a neat trick that I've learned where if you press like Alt Tab while holding right click, while holding left click, sorry. Have I been saying right click this whole time? I meant left click. If you hold left click while Alt Tabbing to another tab or another application, and then let go, and then go back into trains, if Alt Tab back into trains, it will still detect that you're holding the thing. So, really handy note, in case you want to just, like, continue like that. I thought that was you as Henry. I thought it was Skylar. Skylar's way better at Henry than I am, Jess. Come on, be real. Be sensible here.
The Fat Controller doesn't realise that an imported engine like me shouldn't be pulling dirty trucks. It isn't proper. The Fat Controller doesn't realise that an imported engine like me shouldn't be pulling dirty trucks. It isn't proper.
So I'm gonna try... I'm gonna try and line it up the best I can with that, if I'm
The
honest.
Fat Controller doesn't realise that an imported engine like me shouldn't be pulling dirty trucks. It isn't proper.
Okay, so we're gonna move this along and then add it back in a minute. I'm gonna grab Henry here. Shorten his, and then bring it down into the file. As we see, James is in that shot. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our size, position, and rotate tool. And we're just gonna zoom in until just about that much of James is not showing. So we've only really got Henry there. Let's make it a nice even 145.
Rubbish.
Said Henry.
Goods trains are just as important as passengers. You should be grateful to have any work at all.
Said Henry.
Goods trains are just as important.
So I gotta make sure I try and cut this up because we're gonna try and cut this into a in the 4-minute 30-second time frame, which in a recent video I had done isn't very easy. Also, a very handy thing that I haven't done yet, which I still have the tab open. I sometimes have the script the script of the video I'm working on. If it's a serious video, I usually have the script open on a Opera tab or Chrome tab, whatever you're using. And I cross-reference that whenever there's a moment that I need to go back on. Or if there's a line that I take out in the recording, I'll go back and I will edit the script to fit it there. It's a bit of a wacky job to do that, but it's a way I do it. I don't really entirely recommend it, but if you want to... What the hell was that? Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. What was that? What happened? I don't know what that was. Did you guys hear that thud, or am I going crazy? Something just happened down the stairs. I don't know what happened. Jesus. Oh, no, oh, I've got a tangled problem. Oh, what's tangled? Oh, it's my keyboard and my headset. Hang on. Another pro tip. Don't have your cables tangled on your setup. It's a pain in the neck to fix it. There we go. Right, here we go. So we're back here. So we're going to do the same thing with James as well. We're going to do the same thing on the shot with James as well. So I'm just going to grab that. Then we're going to do that. That's a bit too zoomed in for my liking. So we're going to zoom in a little bit. Move the camera. Just so that way we're not seeing too much of Henry. But just enough to show that he's there. And then... There we are. Also, another thing, if you're using Shortcut and you're trying to edit, make sure that your preview scaling is on, because if you turn it off, it's difficult to show on stream because my fingerprint keeps dropping. But if it ain't obvious, some of your stuff will start causing to lag if you don't have preview scaling on. So I recommend you do that. Though sometimes I do say go back onto it, turn it off sometimes, just to see how good the quality is on some shots. Like, this shot with Henry here looks okay. But if we were to go to the James shot and zoom in like that, you could start seeing the quality dimming a little bit. So we don't want that to really keep happening. So we just try and just cross-reference that as much as we can.
Rubbish, said Henry. Trains are just as important as passengers. You should be grateful to have any work at all.
Pa! Retorted James.
So now we go back to the James shot.
Pa!
Then we're going to get to the right shot before his eyes start moving. And then we're going to quickly grab this, just so that way we can plop it back onto here. Actually, I'm going to edit it slightly, just so that way James is a bit more like that. That looks a bit nicer, so I can just do that there as well.
You should be grateful to have...
Don't forget, hang on. Got called for dinner. There it is. I've got my dinner. Nice juicy burgers. They're really fat ones as well. Like these are very big burgers. They're kind of like Burger King burgers, only a bit thinner. Tastes nice though. Right, okay.
at all.
Pa!
This is a fine example of needing to use compression for your lines.
Any work at all.
Pa! Retorted James.
So what we're going to do with that is we're going to grab our tool here. And we're going to minus it.
Pa!
So that way it's not peaking too high. So we're going to do -4.
Any work at all.
Pa! Retorted James. What do you know?
Cut this up, gonna cut this up.
Work at all.
Pa! Retorted James. What do you know? You bore nothing but trucks. You bore nothing but trucks all the time. Oh, you bore nothing but trucks all the time.
I pull coaches too.
Protested.
Oops. Hang on.
Pa! Retorted James. What do you know? You bore nothing but trucks all the time. Trucks all the time.
I pull coaches too.
Protested Henry.
Hmm. There we go.
Tall.
Pa! Retorted James. What do you know? You bore nothing but trucks all the time.
I pull coaches too.
Pa! Retorted James. What do you know? You bore nothing but trucks all the time.
I pull coaches too.
Time.
And we grab the shot of Henry here. Wonder what that noise was from that footage.
I pull coaches too.
Protested Henry.
I'm in a doctor's office just getting a checkup. And some people sound like a pillar.
Trucks all the time.
Weird.
I pull coaches too.
Protested Henry.
Okay, that additional narration line is getting cut out from this specific video, but it's staying in the narration. There are some things that I cut out from my narration that stay in the that stay on the script, just so that way people understand who is talking in the moment. Because I don't write my scripts like traditional transcripts from the show.
I pull coaches too.
Thank you.
You bore nothing but trucks all the time.
I pull coaches too. I pull coaches too.
Not as much as I should. Went on James.
That shot right away doesn't need any changing. That is perfect.
Not as much as I should. Went on James. James.
Oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Sorry about that. Sometimes the editing software acts a bit off. And ends up doing the wrong thing.
Not as much as I should. Went on. As much as I should. Went on James. as much as I should, went on James. I haven't pulled coaches for a month. Every day it's dirty, dirty trucks from dirty, dirty side.
I'm going to grab this here. Grab this again.
Every day it's dirty, dirty trucks from dirty, dirty sidings. And I haven't pulled coaches for a month. Every day it's dirty, dirty trucks from dirty, dirty sidings. And I'm sick of it. And I'm dirty, dirty sidings. Dirty, dirty.
Grab Henry.
Night. Dirty sidings. And I'm
Right. Now this is a bit we need to be precise. Because in some cases, when I'm filming, I have to pause the screen and then make the engine start moving before I do a moving shot. So, if we find I need to get up to the monitor, I always get up too close to the monitor for this, but if we find the shot just before all the smoke stops moving, like that, and then we go along, wait until we've got him moving, then find that shot again. There we go. And then we cut a little bit there. I'm just going to use that. Now, sometimes I do speed up the footage as well. It's not entirely ideal with some things that you film. But for what we're doing right now,
I'm sick of it.
we're just going to stick with it.
And he puffed away to collect his next train.
Okay, we need them just there. Oops, I haven't added the additional footage, have I? I should put that in footage. Oh, yeah, right. It's up at the top. I'm an idiot. There we go. We're going to zoom in on this one. Quite a lot. There we go. And now we're going to go to the music, and we're going to grab the storm theme.
Collect his next train. His next train. That night, strong wind and rain raged across the island.
We will add sound effects in a moment. It does sound quite bare, but just bear with it.
Raged across the island. By morning, the storm had cleared.
try and link it up well enough. And we grab this shot. See if we can try and do it this way. Yeah, we can't. So we're gonna have to do it the way we were doing it. So we'll leave it be. You're gonna have to make some sacrifices when editing these videos, I'll admit.
That night, strong wind and rain raged across the island. By morning, the storm had cleared, but the damage had been done. But the engines still controller.
The engine's still controller. Oh god. Send that meme in your server because that's literally how it was a few minutes ago. Let me have a look. Fair enough. Right.
By morning, the storm
Let's zoom this in a little bit.
had cleared, but the damage had been done. But the engines still had work to do, so the Fat Controller had warned them to be careful while the main line.
I'm realizing this is not becoming as much as I thought it would be. But, we'll persevere.
Had cleared, but the damage had been done. But the engines still had work to do, so the Fat Controller.
So I'm gonna grab this shot here. Now, the quick question on to say this on how specific things are shot. In most cases, I film a lot of this stuff on separate routes, which most people do, so I highly recommend doing that if you want to save, like, the case of your memory on your device. Because filming on a big fuck-off layout is, can be quite annoying. And that's definitely the case with AOTGSR.
But the engines still had work to do, so the Fat Controller had warned them to be careful while the main line was being cleared.
Right, now for the shot that took probably almost the most amount of attempts to do. I didn't even have the sky cylinder for that one. I didn't even film the sky cylinder with this. Ah. Oh well. We'll just zoom it in. We'll just zoom it in.
Donald and Douglas puffed backwards and forwards with the workmen to move debris from the rails. But the work was taking a long time.
Right, now this shot is going to be quite difficult.
The other engines have to cover their...
Right, slightly zoom in that one.
The other engines have to cover their work as well as their own. This made James crosser still.
I will say, my lines aren't this organized usually. Most of the time, they do kind of sound a bit bollocks. And there are a lot of errors in them, but I cut them out for the sake of this stream, just so that way we can keep things running smoothly.
More trucks! He hissed angrily. As if I didn't have enough dirty work already. Why can't I pull coaches? Pulling coaches can be nice, but taking trucks is helpful to the Fat Controller, remarked Thomas. You, of all engines, should know that by now. Engines like Toby pull trucks, and you don't see him complaining. But James... But James was persistent. Toby's just a little engine. He's meant to handle trucks. I'm not.
I wanted to ask you if there was going to be film Shed 17 singing trains. Yeah, I am possibly thinking of altering that episode a little bit, by making it a loose mention, like a loose reference to it. Oh yeah, by the way, make sure you constantly save just in case your software crashes. I completely forgot to do that. But I want to try and not make it a direct mention because I feel like that'd be a bit of a copyright issue. So I don't want to get in trouble with DCG12B because David, he sounds like a nice guy. So I don't want to do that just in case if I do get in trouble with him. I swear to God, I keep moving my own self about as if I'm talking to you guys with my webcam, but I'm not.
Toby's just a little engine. He's meant to handle trucks. I'm not.
James.
Right, this one I can grab.
Says you.
Right, we're just gonna speed that up by
Not.
double. Otherwise, he's gonna take 20 years to get to the camera.
Says you, muttered Thomas. I'm not. Says you, muttered Thomas.
Okay, we're doing a little bit better now with the footage. We're doing a little bit better now. I always over anticipate or under anticipate myself on the fact that sometimes it'll be shorter, sometimes it'll be longer than the time frame I'm expecting it to do. But when I get it down to the right time, then it's absolutely brilliant.
Says you, muttered Thomas. Says you.
Right, we're gonna grab a Series 5 James theme for this bit, I think. So I'll quickly grab one for us. If I can find one, that is. Let's go here. SoundCloud will have something. And then I'll change that to my SoundCloud collector. Oh, what do I know? There's a James here. There's a James one here. I don't know if you can hear that. Wait, this sounds a lot better for the opening. That sounds bloody brilliant! Why didn't I use that? Oh, nope, that's Futurama there. See, I do try my best to try and follow a lot of, music on SoundCloud for Thomas. Okay, so we'll try and... Nope, okay, I forgot that website doesn't work anymore. To Sound... No, wait. SoundCloud to MP3. MP3, not MP2. MP2 is an actual thing, by the way. Don't know what to choose for. There we go. That's saved. Put that in music.
What's with Thomas?
Here we go.
Says you, muttered Thomas.
Okay, we can turn this up just a tiny bit more.
Says you, muttered Thomas.
Now for the real pain in the backside that I struggle to film with.
Thomas.
I did have the line say later he was pulling a line of coal trucks, but I had him pulling a line of coal trucks from the start, so...
James was soon hurrying down the main line with his train of coal trucks. James was soon hurrying down the main line with his train of coal trucks. At first they behaved well.
Yeah, that's the Branch Line Crew Oliver model, by the way. It's getting an update, primarily, I think, because of the faces, and just to have it more proportionally scaled and have all the other features that the other models do. I think it's a pretty decent model for what it is, still, so... I wouldn't discourage using it. Wait, did I not film that shot properly? Bother. That's a problem. Turns out that shot hadn't been filmed correctly. Oh well, looks like I'm gonna have to go and do that later. That's fine, I'll just use one of the previous shots. We can edit this, we can edit this, I can edit this.
At first they behaved well, but James was of coal trucks. At first they behaved well, but James was so cross that he made their journey very uncomfortable.
Okay, now we can change the music up to the Trouble with the Trees music.
That he made their journey very uncomfortable. At first they behaved well, but James was so cross that he made their journey very uncomfortable. That he made their journey very uncomfortable.
Okay, so I'll fix that shot later today. Or whenever I get a chance, because... Oh no, I did film it. What went wrong? Nothing went wrong. I'm just an idiot. Oops. Well, I guess I should probably be paying more attention in future then. So the shot is correct. I just wasn't paying attention.
At first they behaved, but James was so cross that he made their journey very uncomfortable. Hurrying down the main line with his train of coal trucks. At first they behaved well.
So, about there.
At first they behaved well, but James was so cross that he made their journey very uncomfortable. As he rounded a bend, James could see a
Okay, we'll do that.
comfortable. As he rounded the bend, James could see a tree had fallen too.
Ooh, lucid flying cam. Ooh.
James could see a tree had fallen.
Wait,
See a tree had fallen too close to the main line.
did I get a shot of the tree? I did indeed.
James could see a tree had fallen.
We're gonna slow this down so that way we don't see James in the shot.
Too close to the main line. Its branches had sprawled over the rails. His driver shut off steam.
Oh, I didn't do cab interior. Whoopsies. I'll quickly go to a different, I'm gonna go to Google Sheets quickly. I'm gonna quickly go to Google Sheets, and I'm going to... grab a shot I'm meant to be using, and we'll just use it as a placeholder for now until we fix this problem. Until I go back and actually film that. I didn't even realize there was something I completely forgot. Is it in Thomas and the Rumors? 'Cause that's what's in my head, thinking about it right now. Come on. Show me the episodes, and don't give me the audio. Don't give me the audio. Okay, I've reached the correct spot I was looking for. Okay, no, it was the... I think it was the Series 6 episode with Thomas's snowplow. Which I don't remember the name of it, actually. That is very... damn helpful, ain't it? No, it could be actually here? What was that one episode when Thomas had to take that Christmas tree down Toby's branch line? It's Only Snow. That was the episode. That's the episode I was looking for. My bad. I was looking for the wrong thing. Mute that. And then check here, see if I'm correct. Yep, I'm right. Yep, download. Right, that's going to take a while for it to download, so we'll take a second for that. It's been... wait, it's almost been 2 hours. Not really. It's actually been over an hour. It's only been an hour. We've only been streaming for an hour and 14 minutes. It's not really been that long. We've done longer streams. I remember we did a 4-hour stream at one point on YouTube. I don't know what we were playing. Oh, no, wait. No, wait. We did a 5-hour long live stream here back in June when Deltarune came out. Or was it May? It might have been May. I don't remember. But yeah, we've done longer streams than this. I mean, the stream I came back on was 2 hours long, so... I hope you guys are enjoying this so far. I just kind of want to just do this for the fun of it. Whether or not I'll do more of these is debatable. It really depends on how things go with them, but... maybe I'll come back and do more of it. We'll see. Right, so... you'll see exactly what I mean in just a second. I was referring to... okay, I'm gonna have to grab it. I'm gonna have to grab it in the actual editing software. So if we just keep going. Oh yeah, if you can also see, my 3x4 format isn't actually 3x4. Weirdly enough, it's not 3x4. I actually didn't realize that. So I'm gonna fix that, actually. Oh, that's way nicer. Why didn't I do that? Did my music stop? Yep, my music stopped. There we go. Gaming problems. When you play a game for 12 hours straight and you log down, you forget to save. Yep, that is... oh, that is something I hate doing.
The bend, James could see a tree had fallen too close to the main line. Tree had fallen too close to the main line. Its branches had sprawled. Its branches had sprawled over the rails. His driver over the rails. His driver shut off steam and applied the brakes. His driver shut off steam and applied the brakes. Shut off steam and applied the brakes. But the trucks had other...
That was good timing. Good one. Good one. That was a good one, very true.
Applied the brakes, but the trucks had other ideas.
If it ain't obvious, this is of course NG's rolling stock that I'm using for this.
But the trucks had other ideas. Go on, they shout.
I really wish he did update his Tane stock. Because these really haven't aged much compared to their 19 counterparts.
Trucks had other ideas. Go on, they...
Not to mention, the shake doesn't work on them and it keeps jolting their faces.
He shouted and surged. But the trucks had other ideas. Had other ideas. Go on, they...
Notes, I need to scratch my balls. Thank you.
The trucks
You got the balls this time.
had other ideas. Go on, they shouted and surged forwards. James tried to stop, but the heavy trucks had other ideas. Go on, they shouted and...
Alright, we'll grab the other music now.
for the rails. His driver shut off steam and applied the brakes. But the trucks had other ideas. Go on, they shouted and surged forwards. James tried to stop, but the... Help! Cried James as he pushed them on and on. Help! Surged forwards. They shouted and surged forwards. James tried to stop, but the heavy trucks had other ideas. Go on, they shouted and surged forwards. James tried to stop, but the heavy forwards. James tried to stop, but the heavy trucks only pushed him on and on. Help!
Right, I did get a shot of him racing by. Now this is difficult because I tried doing this while in... I wolfed both of the burgers down like 10 minutes ago. I'm gonna be honest.
Heavy trucks only pushed him on. But the heavy trucks only pushed him on and on. Only pushed him on and on.
Might also need to refilm this shot with having an additional face.
Trucks only pushed him on and on. Help!
Oh Jesus, there's the tree.
On. Help! Cried James as he shut his eyes tight.
Right, now we're gonna use this shot properly.
on and on. Trucks only pushed him on and on. Help! Cried James as he shut. Help! Help! But the heavy trucks only pushed him on and on. Help! Tried to stop. James' trucks had other ideas.
This is about the point where the audio sounds very fucking high.
Its branches had sprawled over the rails. His driver shut off steam and applied the brakes. But the trucks had other ideas. Go on, they shouted and surged forwards. James tried to stop, but the heavy trucks only pushed him on and on. Help!
I might refilm that.
James opened his eyes. James opened his eyes. He found that he was... When James opened his eyes, he found that he was still on the rails. He looked back to see the tree had... shifted, with many of its branches torn off.
Oh shit, I forgot about Duck Bean now.
He was...
I forgot Duck was there. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot I had Duck in this shot. Or in this scene, more or less. I had him in this scene. Look.
to stop, but the heavy trucks only applied the brakes. But the trucks had other ideas. Go on, they shouted and surged forwards. James tried to stop, but the heavy trucks only pushed him on and on. Help! Help!
Yeah, literally.
When James... When James opened his eyes, he found that he was still on the rails. He looked back to see the tree had shifted, with many of its branches torn off. Some sat on his buffers.
Yeah, I didn't film the bit where it was on its buffers, so enjoy that bit for your adaptations, people.
Branches torn off. Torn off. Well, James, said his driver, it seems you and the trucks have managed to clear away that tree.
Okay, I hadn't filmed, Seems I haven't filmed a shot of, close-ups at all.
Well, James, said his driver,
I haven't filmed up close-up shots at all. Make sure you have everything filmed before you do stuff.
Well, James, said his driver, it seems you and the trucks have managed to clear away that tree. That'll make Donald and Douglas's work easier today. James didn't know what to think. Make Donald and Douglas's work easier today. James didn't know what to think. Neither did the trucks. They couldn't tell whether they had been troublesome or helpful.
Dun, 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 dun. Do I have Percy's Danger theme? No. How do I not have Percy's Danger theme? That is a bit BS. Bum, 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 bum. I can find it in this. Oh wait, I might have it. I have it. Series 4 stuff can be used for... Here's a worthy note. If you do want to backtrack on some music for specific seasons you're editing, you can I'd say backtrack... For Series 5 stuff, backtrack with Series 3 and 4. And for Series 1 and for Series 2, only Series 1. Then when it comes to Season 6 and 7, you kind of need to stick with those two seasons. Same thing kind of applies with Series 8 to 12. All of those are exclusive to those seasons, so you have to be very finicky on what ones you use. Nope. 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 That's it there. That's it there. That's what I was looking for.
James didn't know what to think. Neither did the trucks. They couldn't tell whether they had been troublesome or helpful. Neither did the trucks. They couldn't tell whether they'd been troublesome or helpful.
Alright, where's that shot of duck? Just to fit the quota. Alright, now using the last of the footage now. Now, I like being authentic with my stuff whenever it comes to filming, so sometimes I will pull out any Marklin model I have and use that as to move rolling stock. You don't need to do it yourself, but I do it personally solely on the fact of just being authentic, even though it won't be shown on the footage itself.
Later that day, the Fat Controller spoke to James.
This was the only close-up stuff I had filmed. Somehow this is the only close-up stuff I managed to film.
We're gonna focus on...
Seems I haven't, changed that. Oh dear. There we go. Sometimes I forget to change the lighting on some things, so some lighting will end up looking different.
I may not know what you have against trees, James, he said. Know what you have against trees, James, he said. But may not know what you have against trees, James, he said. But
And my Fat Controller voice isn't the best. I do apologize for that.
James, he said. But
that was making
I'm not stressed you leave clearing them away to the professionals. Yes, sir, said James, feeling rather embarrassed. Now then. Went on the Fat Controller.
Always be careful when you're filming close-up shots, because sometimes you can make these guys look too small when they shouldn't be.
Leave clearing them away to the professionals. Yes, sir, said James, feeling rather embarrassed. Now then, went on the Fat Controller. Henry tells me you've been needing a change in your work lately. You've been needing a change in your work lately, and I believe you deserve one after today.
Right, okay, time for the music. Let's see. Nope. Nope. Here it is.
Believe you deserve one after today. He paused impressively.
Thinking of using Gacha Life for Fat Hat. I've never been a big fan of Gacha Life. I get why people enjoy it, but I don't really see it being that much of a handy thing, if I'm honest. Plus, the community surrounding it is a little bit weird.
Today, he paused impressively. So I've decided that impressively. So I've decided that Donald paused impressively. So I've decided that Donald and Douglas one after today.
That was
So I've decided. So I've decided that Donald and Douglas will do your work.
Oh yeah, I decided to change it to this face instead.
He paused impressively. So I've decided that Donald and Douglas will do your work, and you
Tease.
can take the work. And you can take the workmen to clear up the rest of the main line tomorrow. So I've decided that Donald and Douglas will do your work, and you can take the workmen to clear up. This will do your work, and you can take the workmen to clear up the rest of the main line. Your work. Will do your work, and you can take the work. And you can take the work when the
Right, I tried this tactic on a previous video I had filmed earlier this week. Or earlier this last month, I mean. Not earlier this week. I've barely done anything this week. And I'm hoping it will work here again. Though by the looks of it, I don't think it will. Doesn't hurt to try. The Lord loves a tryer.
you can take.
Keep trying zooming it in until it's pretty well aligned. Okay, do that. So we can fix that. Line that up there. Line that up there. There we go. Now we got a bit of finer. It's a bit finer to do it now. You can still see the seam line. Let's see what happens if I try and tilt it. No. There we go. And then down a bit. No, up a bit. Hmm. Sacrifices are gonna have to be made, I think. Unless we can use the circular tool. That should help us a little bit more. That's not helpful. That's barely done anything to help.
You can take the workmen to clear up the rest of the main. And you can take the workmen to clear up the rest of the main line. Tomorrow. Hopefully that will be a nice change of pace.
Hmm.
Later that day, the Back Controller spoke to James. I may not know what you have against trees, to James. I may not know what you have against trees, James, he said, but I must stress you leave clearing them away to the professionals. Yes, sir, said James, feeling rather embarrassed. Now then, went on the Back Controller, Henry tells me you've been needing a change in your work lately. And I believe you deserve one after today. He paused impressively. So I've decided that Donald and Douglas will do your work, and you can take the workmen to clear up the rest of the main line tomorrow. Hopefully that will be a nice change of pace. Never mind, James, laughed Henry. At least you'll be pulling coaches. The only thing is your passengers are the workmen and their tools. James, with a lot to think about, said nothing at all. James, with a lot to think about, said nothing at all.
Almost there. We're like a second. It's like a second less. That's a second more. That is a somewhat annoying and triggering me a lot. I'll do the thing with James, with Edward and Gordon in a second.
Hopefully that will be a nice change of the main line tomorrow. Hopefully that will be a nice change of pace. Hopefully that will be a nice change of pace. And tomorrow. Tomorrow. Hopefully that will be a nice change of pace. Never mind, James, laughed Henry. At least you'll be pulling coaches. The only thing is your passengers are the workmen and their tools. James.
Almost there.
Have you ever got
James, with a lot to think about, said nothing at all. James, with a lot to think about, said nothing at all. Be pulling coaches. The only thing is your passengers are the workmen and their tools. James, with a lot to think about, said nothing at all.
I suppose while we're at it, I could probably give some insight into some stuff I'm currently working on behind the scenes. I have been working on a prototype test for the intro to the headcanon series I said I had planned. Most of it is test footage at the moment, but there are some shots that I'm actually liking. And I'm trying to make it to where a lot of the stuff I am filming on it is rather similar. To what is in my canon, so with any luck, some shots will be different. Some shots will be some shots will stay. But a lot of them have been using temporary models, because a lot of the reskins I need to do I haven't done yet. So with any luck I could probably get those done soon. But right now, they're just currently sitting as a sort of backlog. Oh my god, I definitely need to try and fix this. Though it's at a completely different angle, so we might be a bit... We might not be so lucky. Oh, but we could. We could. Maybe I just have it as that. Because I was lucky to do it with that.
Clear up the rest of the main line tomorrow. Hopefully that will be a nice...
Oh, wait, there's Percy. There's a shot of Percy.
Clear up the rest...
Oh, shoot! I hate it when the software does that! That is a common issue that this software has for some reason. And I don't know why.
Hopefully that will be a nice change of pace.
Never mind, James,
Laughed Henry.
at least you'll be pulling coaches. The only thing is your passengers are the workmen and their tools.
James, with a lot to think about, said nothing at all.
Right, we gotta do some zoom in work here. Right, that's fine. That's fine. This isn't fine. We need to do this. There we go. And here as well. I just don't know where I can find... I'm thinking of doing the same thing because I don't know. That's another thing. I think I'm probably gonna put, like, a disclaimer that there's, like, a lot of characters that aren't part of my canon that a lot of people would probably expect. Like Connor and Caitlin, I haven't done anything for them for my canon.
I may not know what you have against trees, James, he said, but I must stress you leave clearing them away to the professionals. Yes, sir, said James. The Fat Controller spoke to James. Later that day, the Fat Controller spoke to James. I may not know what you have against trees, James, he said, but I must stress you leave clearing them away to the professionals. The controller spoke to James. I may not know what you have against trees, James. Later that day, the Fat Controller spoke to James. I may not know what you have against trees, James, he said, but I must stress you leave clearing them away to the professionals. Yes, sir, said James. But I must stress you leave clearing them away to the professionals. Yes, sir, said...
Notice how I am, like, finicking about with a lot of the stuff? That's because we are basically done with the rough edit. So once your rough edit is done, aside from the fact that I haven't done a single, two, interior shots, 2 shots for the crew. Everything's basically done here. All we need to do is just refine everything to make sure it all links in a lot better, and that way we can actually get a 4-minute 30-second time frame. So we're just gonna re-watch through it at double check that my preview scaling is on and see how it goes.
One day, James was grumbling to the other engines.
Oh yeah, but we're gonna change the music here. I remember now. I remember we were gonna change that music.
One day, James was grumbling to the other engines. The Fat Controller doesn't realise that an imported engine like me shouldn't be pulling dirty trucks. It isn't proper,
Rubbish.
said Henry.
Goods train.
Doesn't fit as well, I don't think. It's always good to have multiple options, by the way, guys.
Passengers.
Always
You
make
should
sure
be
I have
grateful
multiple
to have
options.
any work at all.
Pah! retorted James. What do you know? You bore nothing but trucks or... Pah! retorted James. What do you know? You bore nothing but trucks all the time.
I pull coaches too.
Not as much as I should, went on James. I haven't pulled coach...
Ow, the fucking audio again.
Grateful to have any work at all.
Pah! retorted James. What do you know? You bore nothing but trucks all the time.
I pull coaches too.
Not as much as I should, went on James. I haven't pulled coaches for a month. Every day it's dirty, dirty.
Jesus.
I haven't pulled coaches for a month. Every day it's dirty, dirty trucks from dirty, dirty sidings. And I'm sick of it. And he puffed away to collect his next train. And he puffed away to collect his next train. That night, strong wind and rain raged across the island. By morning, the storm had cleared, but the damage had been done. But the engines still had work to do, so the Fat Controller had warned them to be careful while the main line was being cleared.
I also warned them that some idiot was trying to make this video actually fucking work. And is failing somewhat miserably. Oh Jesus, I keep forgetting that I'm live actually. I keep forgetting that I'm live. I'm getting so stuck into this, I'm completely forgetting that I'm live streaming all this. Oh god, that tells you how stuck it. That tells you how locked in I keep getting when I make these.
Donald and Douglas puffed backwards and forwards with the workmen to move debris from the rails. Donald and Douglas puffed backwards and forwards with the workmen to move the...
I think that's a series 6. Nope. 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 Is there one of the Scottish twins? Is there a Scottish twins thing in here? I could make one up in Mixcraft. That could be something. Yeah, I'll just do that later on.
Donald and Douglas puffed backwards and forwards with the workmen to move the debris from the rails. But the work was taking a long time. The other engines had to cover their work as well as their own. This made James crosser still. More trucks! He hissed angrily.
Yeah, I don't think I do, but their music, I'm gonna be honest, their music's good, but the problem is they are like they have a specific style with how their music is made, especially these days. So it's kind of difficult to use that if it doesn't sound accurate entirely.
The other engines had to cover their work as well as their own. This made James crosser still. More trucks! He hissed angrily. As if I didn't have enough dirty work already. Why can't I pull coaches? Pulling coaches can be nice, but taking trucks is helpful to the Fat Controller, remarked Thomas. You, of all engines, should know that by now. Engines like Toby pull truck. You, of all engines, should know that by now. Engines like Toby pull trucks, and you don't see him complaining. But James was persistent. Toby's just... And you don't see...
There is Johnson where he was shunting the... Yeah, but again, that's very specific because they use a lot of the Undertale and Deltarune motifs in their music. Something that can't really be used in this.
him complaining, but James was persistent. Toby's just a little engine. He's meant to handle trucks. I'm not.
Da, 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 24, 24, 24, 24. Right, there we go. So that should trim off just about enough fat. I'm saying this like I'm giving this video plastic surgery, which technically this is technically plastic surgery for a video. Oh, made that go a bit too far. Come on, move. Right there. Right there. Are we actually fucking ourselves here? Oh, no, that's the wrong button. That was not what I was meant to press. There we go. Exactly 30 seconds on there.
Clear away that tree. That'll
Oops.
make Donald...
That's the one I wanted to press. I wanted to go to here.
I'm not. Says you, muttered Thomas. James was soon hurrying down the main line with his train of coal trucks. At first they behaved well, but James was so cross that he made their journey very uncomfortable. As he rounded the bend, James could see a...
Oh, jeez. Oh, no, don't. Don't! Ah, this always a bloody happens. Hang on. This is normal, guys. The software just crashed. That's all it was. Yep. Thankfully, Shortcut has a feature where it does autosave, so our progress isn't lost.
As he rounded the bend, James could see a
Although it does... Oh, no, it doesn't figure out. Okay. Again, one tram ban has his own specific style. Everybody's good, but everyone does have their own specific
As he
style.
rounded the bend, James could see a tree had fallen too close to the main line. Its branches had sprawled over the rails. His driver shut off steam and applied the brakes. But the trucks had other ideas. Go on, they shouted and surged forwards. James tried to stop, but the heavy trucks only pushed him on and on. Help! James tried to stop, but the heavy trucks only pushed him. Had other ideas. Go on, they shouted and surged. Trucks had other ideas. Go on, they shouted and surged forwards. James tried to stop, but the heavy trucks only pushed him on and on. Help! When James opened his eyes, he found that he was still on the rails. He looked back to see the tree had shifted, with many of its branches torn off. Well, James, said his driver, it seems you and the trucks have managed to clear away that tree. That'll make Donald and Douglas's work easier today. James didn't know what to think. That'll make Donald and Douglas's work easier today. James didn't know what to think. Neither did the trucks. They couldn't tell whether they had been troublesome or helpful.
Of course it's done that again. Of course it does.
Troublesome or helpful.
Okay, there's something there. There we go. That was it.
Later that day, the Fat Controller spoke to James. I may not know what you have against trees, James, he said, but I must stress you leave clearing them away to the professionals. Yes, sir, said James, feeling rather embarrassed. Now then, went on the Fat Controller, Henry tells me you've been needing a
Okay, with the way it's blurry there, that's a helpful tip to try and check. See how it looks without the preview scaling. It looks alright there, so we're fine.
Henry tells me you've been needing a change in your work lately, and I believe you deserve one after today. He paused impressively. So I've decided...
That's why I don't like having my editing software. I don't like having... That's why I don't like having the editing software and trains open at the same time.
You can check. And you can take the workmen to clear up the rest of the main line. You can take the workmen to clear up the rest of the main line tomorrow. Hopefully that will be a nice change of pace. Never mind, James, laughed Henry. At least you'll be pulling coaches. The only thing is your passengers are the workmen and their tools. James, with a lot to think about, said nothing at all. The only thing is your passengers are the workmen and their tools. James, with a lot to think about, said nothing at all.
And I just realized the Discord that notification there shows up. We're gonna fix that. I quickly give this that. Drop. And we're gonna grab that, and then we're gonna put it over here.
Said nothing at all.
See, you can barely notice it. And that removes now that notification. Thank God I had done that. I didn't even realize that had happened. Right. So now that's out of the way. I'm gonna do one more thing before we finish this. And that is fiddle with lighting. So I'm gonna do some color grading. Now, this really would work depending on what you're using. Okay, that's not gonna work. Let's do contrast instead. You have to be very precise on what you're doing depending on the thing that is being filmed. So, with this being Series 5, I'm gonna have to make it... sorry, epilepsy warning, people. I'm gonna have to make it quite sharp. Not as sharp as that. Maybe a little less. Like that. And then... try and grab some... It's on the wrong thing. Try and... nope. Scan lines. I didn't even know those were on here. I'm saving those. We could turn on sepia tone. Fortunately, it doesn't really do much for us. So, we're not going to really use this. Sorry again to those with sensitive eyes. I really probably should put a warning on here, but... and realize it'd be like that. So, sorry if you're bad on eyesight. If your eyesight is, if you have got sensitive eyes, I am sorry. Let's see. So, let's do that. We'll keep that. The gamma. You don't really... This is... basic stuff we're doing here. Gonna up... No, not the hue. We're gonna turn up the saturation a little bit. There we go.
Vengeance. Right.
Oh great, now you can barely see the night scenes.
Strong wind and rain raged across the island.
Which one of these is it doing it to? It's the levels. Of course it's the bloody levels. Right. Yep.
That
Okay, there we go. Oh god, no. Wish I didn't done that. Yep, not doing that. Nope. If I want to do this looking like an actual thing, I would send this over to Jenna to do that.
and I'm sick of it. And he puffed away to collect his next train.
I think we could just close these off for now.
That night, strong wind and rain raged across the island.
Didn't really need these two layers. I only do these layers additionally if I'm doing, like, eye animation or anything like that, but I don't think we can really need to do anything like that, so that's a positive.
By morning, the storm had cleared, but the damage had been done. But the engines still had work to do, so the Fat Controller had warned them to be careful while the main line was being cleared.
Oh.
Donald and Douglas puffed backwards and forwards with the workmen to move debris from the rails. But the work was taking a long time. The other engines had to cover their work as well as their own. This made James crosser still. "More trucks!" he hissed angrily. "As if I didn't have enough dirty work already! Why can't I pull coaches?" "Pulling coaches can be nice, but taking trucks is helpful to the Fat Controller," remarked Thomas. "You, of all engines, should know that by now. Engines like Toby pull trucks, and you don't see him complaining." But James was persistent.
Right, okay, we're gonna stop that there, so that way we can start working on the sound effects. So I'm gonna lock all these, and then I'm going to grab my sound effects. So we want to have an idle sound effect. This one will do, we'll put it on there. And then we do want ambience, which I did not put on here. Of course I didn't put it on here. It's on my hard drive. Ambience, general yard. General yard. Bird ambience, ambience. Bird shadow. Both of those. So, right, we need one of these.
One day,
We're gonna get the volume again, and this time we're gonna turn these down a lot. I typically go around about
James was grumbling.
15 to... I normally go between 10 to 15. Minus 10 to 15... Minus 10 to minus 15 defaults.
The Fat Controller doesn't realise that an imported engine like me shouldn't be pulling dirty trucks. It isn't proper,
Rubbish.
said Henry.
Goods trains are just as important as
From dirty.
I don't think I have a storm sound effect, so good thing I still have Google Drive open, so I'm gonna go to it. I'm gonna find a folder, one of the sound effect folders. Let's go to Brandon Pulley. Let's go to GW Shunter, sorry. And we need ambience. There's not really anything there that says ambience, so we're gonna check S. I'm gonna check an S category, see if there's something that says storm. Doesn't look like it. So maybe the fact that we might need to grab one from the internet, which is not ideal. But you got to work with what you get. I'm just gonna double check Brandon Pulley's folder while we're at it. Brandon Pulley. There it is. Brandon Pulley. There's wind. Right, that one works. Wow, that is loud even on here.
strong wind.
Oh wait, I'm an idiot. Been adding that in incorrectly. It's meant to go on to here.
Rain raged across the island. By morning, the storm had cleared, but the damage had been done. But the engines still had work to do, so the Fat Controller had warned them to be careful while the main line was being cleared.
So I always try and do the ambient sound effects first, and then I get on with the others. I get the others sorted afterwards. That's rather poor. Why do I have that sound effect?
Time. The other engines had to cover their work as well as their own. This made James crosser still. More trucks! He hissed angrily. As if I... Says you, muttered Thomas.
Normally cut off a few seconds just so that way we don't have to fade.
James was soon hurrying down the main line with his train of coal trucks. At first they behaved well, but James was so cross that he made their journey very uncomfortable. When James opened his eyes, he found that he was Later that day, the Fat Controller spoke to James. I may not know what you have against trees, James, he said, but I must stress you leave clearing them away to the professionals. Yes, sir, said James, feeling rather embarrassed. Now then, went on the Fat Controller, Henry tells me you've been needing a change in your work lately, and I believe you deserve one after today. He paused impressively. So I've decided that hopefully that will be a nice change of pace. Never mind, James, laughed Henry. At least you'll be pulling coaches. The only thing is your passengers are the workmen and their tools. James, with a lot to think about, said nothing at all.
Lovely. We're doing very well here, people. We're doing very well.
Night, strong wind and rain raged across the island. By morning, the storm had cleared, but the damage had been done. But the engines still had work to do, so the Fat Controller had warned them.
Okay, time for the other sound effects now.
One day, James was grumbling to the other engines. The Fat Controller doesn't realise that an imported engine like me shouldn't be pulling dirty trucks. It isn't proper,
Rubbish.
said Henry.
Goods trains are just as important as passengers. You should be grateful to have any work at all.
Pah! Retorted James. What do you know? You pull nothing but trucks all the time.
I pull coaches too.
Not as much as I should, went on James. I haven't pulled coaches for a month. Every day as much as I should, went on James. I haven't pulled coaches for a month. Every day it's dirty, trucks from dirty, dirty sidings, and I'm sick of it. And he puffed away to collect his next train. Dirty, dirty sidings, and I'm sick of it. And he puffed away to collect his next train. These sidings, and I'm.
Alright, James's whistle. I didn't put in here. Strange. Hang on, let me double check something. Oh, I needed to go there in the first place. Puff, puff, puff. Where's the puffing sound effects? Where are the puffing sound effects? Here we go. Right. There we go. Okay, keep going. I'll find it at some point. I'll find the one I'm looking for at some point. Oh, that's definitely not it. Jesus. No thank you. Okay, that's not working. That's annoying. That wasn't even the right one anyway. Oh, Jesus. These are all just the damn same. They really are. Hmm. Screw it.
I'm sick of it. And he puffed away to collect his next train. That night, strong wind and rain raged across the island. By morning, the storm had cleared, but the damage had been done. For the end,
Okay, James Whistle.
I'm sick of it. And he puffed away to collect his next train. That night, strong wind and rain raged. I'm sick of it. And he puffed away to collect his next train. That night, strong wind and rain raged across the island. By morning, the storm had cleared, but the damage had been done. The engine still had work to do, so the Fat Controller had warned them to be careful. While the main line was being cleared. Fat Controller had warned them to be careful while the main line was being cleared. Donald and Douglas puffed backwards and forwards with the workmen to move the
Which one do I have? I have 2, so I need 3. Should be.
The engine still had work to do, so the Fat Controller had warned them to be careful while the main line was... The engine still had work to do, so the Fat Controller had warned them to be careful while the main line was being cleared. So the Fat Controller had warned them to be careful while the main line was being cleared. The engine still had work to do, so the Fat Controller had warned them to be careful while the main line was being cleared. Donald and Douglas puffed
And the puff passed.
backwards and forwards with the workmen to move the debris from the rails. But the work was taking a long time. Donald and Douglas puffed backwards and forwards with the workmen to move debris from the rails. debris from the rails. But the work was taking a long time. The other engine...
Okay, now we need to get some rolling stock sound effect because of those trucks there. And I didn't put them in my Google Drive. They are still... They're still... here. Yep, there we go.
On time. The other engines have to cover their work as...
Halt. Nope, that's not what I want. There. Halt. Very handy sound effect here.
well as their own. This time. The other engines have to cover their work as well as their...
Then the biff. No. Biff. With one eye, not two eyes.
This made James crosser still. More trucks! He hissed.
There, we got the engine idle here. Let me done. Oh, no, don't you dare, don't you dare. Please, please, please don't. Don't crash on me again, don't crash on me again, don't crash on me again. Okay, thank God.
For their work as well as their own. This made James crosser still. More trucks! He hissed. This made James crosser still. More trucks! He hissed angrily. As if I didn't have enough dirty work already. Why can't I pull coaches? Pulling coaches can be nice, but taking trucks is helpful to the Fat Controller, remarked Thomas. You of all engines should know that by now. Engines like Toby pull trucks.
Let's do a hiss. I'm gonna put down a hiss. And yep, that.
Still. More trucks! He hissed angrily. More trucks! He hissed angrily. As if I didn't have enough dirty...
And now what we're going to do is actually utilize those sets, and then we're gonna go green, screen. I'm gonna see the stuff I have. I'm gonna grab my the dust little one I have. And now this is a bit of a tutorial on how I do my hiss green screen effects. So if I just do that, and then what we need to do is chroma key. We need to chroma key it. Nope, the chroma key, not key spill. Chroma key simple. Always go with the simple. Just arguably the best way to go around it. Make that transparent. And same thing to you. Right. So then I normally go to here and then turn off the saturation. Oh wow, that actually looks a lot better than what I normally do. By trying and utilize as much steam there is possible. So then we go to blur. Wow, that actually looks a lot nicer. Strangely, that looks nicer. We go to blur, and I've ruined it. But no, basically we go to blur so that way we can find out those edges. And then we'll speed it up.
More trucks! He hissed angrily.
There we go.
More trucks! He hissed angrily, as if I didn't have enough dirty...
Let's see if I could try and... And let's just do about 85.
More trucks! He hissed angrily.
Oh wow, that
As if
actually
I
works
didn't have enough
perfectly.
dirty work already. Why can't I pull coaches? Pulling coaches can be nice, but taking trucks is helpful to the Fat Controller, remarked Thomas. You, of all engines, should know that by now. Engines like Toby pull trucks, and you don't see him complaining. But James was persistent. Toby's just a little engine. He's meant to handle trucks.
Now we grab a guard's whistle. Guard whistle. Kill our eardrums while that happens.
Toby. He's just a little engine. He's meant to handle engine. He's meant to handle trucks. I'm not.
James whistle. Whistle with it. Never really have a good amount of actual whistles for the engines, I realise that.
To handle trucks. I'm not.
Right, and now we get the puffings again. We get the puffings again. OT, here we go. We're at that same problem again. It's not if I can go up and find big engine, because it's not really sort of thing here on Oh no, it is. I'm just extremely stupid. Ugh, of course. Of course I don't notice it. Of course I don't notice it. Yeah, we'll use that. That's fine.
Not.
Says you, muttered Thomas.
James was soon hurrying down the main line with his train of coal trucks. At first they behaved well.
No.
James was soon hurrying down the main line with his...
Nah, I'm fine.
train of coal trucks. James was soon hurrying down the main line with his train of coal trucks. hurrying down the main line with his train of tool trucks. At first they behaved well, but James was so cross that he made their journey very uncomfortable. But James was so cross that he made their journey very uncomfortable. Well, but James was so cross that he made their journey very uncomfortable.
Okay, there we go. Keep going.
As he rounded the bend, James could see a tree had fallen too close to the main line. Its branches had sprawled over the rails. Very uncomfortable. As he rounded the bend, James could see a tree had fallen too close to the main line. As he rounded the bend, James could see a tree had fallen too close to the main line. Its branches...
Alright, now we can do some goodies here.
sprawled over the rails. His driver shut line. Its branches had sprawled over the rails. His driver shut off steam and applied the brakes. The trucks had other ideas. Go on, they shouted, and surged forwards. Tree had fallen too close. His driver shut off steam and applied the His driver shut off steam and applied rails. His driver shut off steam and applied the brakes. The trucks had other ideas. Go on, they shouted. Its branches had sprawled over the rails. His driver shut off steam and applied the brakes. The truck.
Right, there are quite a few different brakes on this, so let's see which ones is a good one. Nope. Right. Breaks time. Prepare your ears, everyone.
Applied the brakes. The trucks had other ideas. applied the brakes. But the trucks had other ideas. Go on, they... The trucks had other ideas. Go on, they shouted and surged forwards. James tried to stop them, but the heavy trucks only pushed him on and on. Help! James tried to stop them, but the heavy... Go on, they shouted and surged forwards. James tried to stop them, but the heavy trucks only pushed him on and on. Help! Help! Help!
Hmm.
When James opened his eyes, he found that he was... When James opened his eyes, he found that he...
Go. Engine idle.
When James opened his eyes, he found that he was still on the rails. He looked back to see the tree had shifted, with many of its branches torn off.
Guard.
Well, James,
Do I even have any duck whistles? I do, shockingly.
driver, it seems you and the...
Nope. Someone needed. Oh, sugar, that's not what I wanted to do either. I'm just gonna say don't bother sending me it, because I'm probably not gonna end up using it, if I'm honest. I appreciate the gesture, but I'm probably not gonna... I probably won't end up using it, knowing me. Hmm. Uh... Right, well, I don't use 19, so... That would be another reason.
Seems you and the trucks have managed to clear away that tree. That'll make Donald and Douglas managed to clear away that tree. That'll make Donald...
Oh, Jesus, that's not medium, that's fast. That just sounds terrible, Jesus. Hmm. Ooh.
to clear away that tree. That'll make Donald and Douglas's work easier today. James didn't know what to think. Neither did the trucks. That'll make Donald and Douglas's work easier today. James didn't clear away that tree. That'll make Donald and Douglas's work easier today. James didn't know. That'll make Donald and Douglas's work easier today. James didn't know what to think. Neither did the trucks. They couldn't tell whether they'd been troublesome or helpful.
Roll Doc.
Wait, that tree. That'll make Donald and Douglas's work easier today. James didn't know what to think. Neither did the trucks. They couldn't tell whether they'd been troublesome or helpful. Later that day, the Fat Control or helpful. Late helpful. Later that day, the Fat Controller spoke to
Yeah. Alright, volume minus 20.
James. Later that day, the Fat Controller spoke to James. I may not know what you have against trees, James, he said, but I must stress you leave clearing them away.
Oh, yeah, they're in here. Ain't that?
I may not know what you have against trees, James, he said. I may not know what you have against trees, James, he said, but I must stress you leave clearing them away to the profession. To the professionals. Yes, sir, said James, feeling rather embarrassed. Now then, went on the Fat Controller, Emery tells me you've been needing a change in your work lately, and I believe you deserve one after today. He paused impressively. So I've decided that Donald and Douglas will do your work, and you can take the workmen to clear up the rest of the main line tomorrow. Hopefully that will be a nice change of pace. Never mind, James, laughed Emery. At least you'll be pulling coaches. The only thing is your passengers are the workmen and their tools. James, laughed Emery. At least you'll be pulling coaches. The only thing is your passengers are the workmen and their tools. James, with a lot to think about, said nothing at all. At least you'll be pulling coaches. The only thing is your passengers are the workmen and their tools. James, with a lot to think about, said nothing at all. Never mind, James, laughed Emery. At least you'll be pulling coaches. The only thing is your passengers are the workmen and their tools. James, with a lot to think about, said nothing at all.
Right. I think That's that. That's probably one of the easiest I have ever done. Oh, and it only took us 3 hours to get it sorted. Oh. Sure, actually, editing videos like this normally take longer than actual 3 hours. I've had videos like this that have taken about several days to finish. But I'm glad we were able to finish this one just about. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to leave a, please make sure to give a quick follow, so that way you can keep updated with what streams come up on, Twitch next. I do have my other social medias, my YouTube, and, my Instagram. And I'm possibly going to start uploading on, I'm going to start tweeting again on, posting again on Blue Sky. Oh no, what happens? And be sure to head over to the... I was just about to say that. Make sure to head over to the official mrsans Discord server if you want to get, connected with yours truly and all the other fans of my content, as well as getting exclusives to what video will be coming to the channel next. Probably not this one. I do have a couple other ones lined up while this one gets finished up. So I'm gonna finish this with the... I'm gonna put the intro and outro on this later on. But for now, that is all the time I have for... I need to get, first of all, this plate down the stairs and finish off, what I need to do today before college in the morning. So, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, lads and lasses!